Alright, hello everybody, welcome to Livestream under the Moonshine with Zaxtor99, whoever the hell that is. This is episode number 219, everybody, and tonight I have what should be a treat based on previous experience with the publisher and developer of this visual novel. Now, this is a visual novel I've never read before. It's called When Our Journey Ends. And it's written by the amazing Afterthought Studios. And the reason I say amazing developer and publisher on Steam is because these guys have brought some truly, really entertaining visual novels to Steam. And to go over some of the few that I've really enjoyed, You With Me was about a couple dealing with one of them having incurable cancer. And then we have It Comes Around, which is a really good, more of a horror themed kind of visual novel. Who Is Mike was really, really good. And I'll never forget Forgotten Not Lost, a heartbreaking visual novel that deals with dealing with dementia in somebody that you love. So you can pretty much find all these visual novels on my YouTube channel. Visual novels I've played in the past, so definitely look those up if you're interested in any of those. But this one follows Mariko as she boards a train to a completely different world, a world of unbelievable beings and happenings. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and jump into When Our Journey Ends, and let's go ahead and play this visual novel right now. It is $7 on Steam in American currency, by the way. And let's jump in, guys. All right, we will choose English. Take a quick look at the options here. All right. It is only just nearing the start of spring. The remaining snow on the ground is finally melting away, but alas, it is still not fast enough for Mariko's liking. Being the driven girl that she is, Mariko only has her mind set on the near future. Later in the spring, she is scheduled to graduate, and as far as she is concerned, graduation cannot come soon enough. Mariko is 17 years old, a high schooler who leads a fairly content, if not slightly boring, life. She is practically a young adult with her head screwed on straight. She does well in school, and despite living in the country, she even has a few friends. There are only a couple of minor complaints in her family life, but for the most part, she is doing well for herself. However, what Mariko wants most of all is to graduate and move to the big city. She has a couple of universities picked out already and is currently trying to decide which one she favors the most. The other university would serve as a backup in case she doesn't get her first choice, but either way, she is looking forward to escaping from the countryside. It's kind of funny how that works, right? Is it not working here, guys? Hang on just a sec. Let's go back to desktop then. Okay. And let's go to the options here and go full screen. There we go. And let's turn the music down just a tad. Okay. So we have Mariko here. She lives in the country. She's a 17-year-old girl in high school. She's looking forward to graduating, but the thing she looks forward to the most is moving to the big city and escaping the countryside. Now, isn't that funny? Because a lot of people, you know, that live in the city, what do they want more than anything? Their big dream is to move to a home in the countryside. I know that's something I've always wanted to do, is move out to a nice home, you know, and have more freedom and space somewhere out in the country. And people in the country, like Mariko here, wants to move to the city. It's kind of like, you know, people are never happy. The grass is always greener on the other side. Blondes want to be brunettes, and brunettes want to be blondes, that kind of thing. Anyway, let's go ahead and move along. On this brisk afternoon, Mariko is returning from school. A light dusting of snow falls from the sky, and a breeze sends a shiver down her spine. She's still wearing her winter uniform on account that the spring semester has not officially started yet. Her hair and face are tucked into the scarf she wears over the uniform jacket, keeping her mostly warm. Alright, for whatever reason, guys, let me see here. I'm not dropping any frames, but it doesn't seem to be showing the most current. Let's go back here and go window again and make sure that you guys can see the text as it comes up. Kind of a little bit weird. Let's see if it changes here. There we go. Mariko walks her normal route from school to the station, not taking one of her usual detours to a cafe. Her club activities ran late today, so she wants to just go home and work on her homework as soon as she can. She can see the station now and picks up her pace. As she approaches, she doesn't bother to pass through the station building. Instead, she walks around and passes the gate before turning a corner. And there it is. The train waiting faithfully for her. Its only passenger. To be honest, Mariko is rather embarrassed about the whole situation and the attention it brings to her personally. People, her parents especially, tend to make a big deal of her being the only person that the train serves. As soon as she graduates in the spring, the train and its subsequent stations are to be shut down. To Mariko, it was a pain to go all the way to the next town just to attend school. She had begged her parents to move, but unfortunately their jobs would not allow such a commute. So instead, she gets to wake up early and come home late in the day, something that she didn't appreciate. Alright. The local news and her neighbors often romanticize how the railworks company had struck a deal with the local government to make sure that just she would be able to get to and from school until she graduates. Can you imagine that? A train running from two cities just for one person. I find that hard to believe, but according to this, the local government made sure that she's going to be able to get to and from school until she graduates. I can't see that happening very often. It's just like a fairy tale or a movie, they would always say. They also said things like how proud they are to serve a country with the best interest in mind for its people. Mariko rolls her eyes in the thought before catching sight of the station master, who nods and waves her over, and she returns the greeting and ambles towards him. The station master is an aged man on the cusp of retirement. The only reason he had yet to retire was because he felt that no one else would want to maintain the station until it was defunct. He is a kind man who always has a greeting for Mariko on her way to school.
Hello, young miss.
And there he is.
The train will be ready to leave soon. Did you have a good day at school?
Yeah, it went well.
My day went pretty well, sir. Thanks for asking. How did your day go?
I like this.
Oh, as well as always. Today was a slow day.
They both laugh at the joke, knowing very well that every day is slow at the station, since after all, Mariko is the only passenger the station master has to tend to. Occasionally, people come and take pictures of the lonely station and its single train and passenger, but that has not happened in a while. The doors to the train open suddenly, catching the attention of both the station master and Mariko. The old station master bows his head to the young girl, and she turns to take her leave. Mariko waves one last goodbye to the old man as she steps into the train. The doors close behind her, and she can hear the train gearing up to go back towards her hometown. As it bucks and starts to move forward, slowly, she makes her way back to the spot that she usually sits in. She chose this spot to sit in 3 years ago because during the winter months it has the most sun. She has not changed her seating arrangements since then. So she sits in the same seat every day, even though she's the only one on the train. Huh. Well, I guess she never has to worry about, finding an empty seat or anything like that. Her chosen seat has been warmed by the afternoon light as she sits down, getting comfortable. She starts to stare expressionlessly out the window, watching her surroundings slowly go by. Farms litter the scenery outside, but all of them lack the plant life as the winter has been harsh, and it was definitely not the best climate to grow local crops in. The doors to the train open suddenly and catching the attention of both the station master. Wait a minute, what happened? That's not right. What happened? What? Yeah, we've already done this. Anyway, but all of them lack the plant life as the winter has been harsh and was definitely not the best climate to grow local crops in. Outside of the train, the clouds move lazily by, dropping snowflakes onto the backdrop. Occasionally, a tree will whip past the train window, but the rest of the scenery is fairly sparse. Mariko is glad that the inside of the train is protected from the cold air of the outside. She leans closer to the window as her body relaxes and she prepares to wait out the rest of the ride. And Mariko's breath lightly fogs the window with its heat, and eventually she has to rub the glass clean in order to see out the window once more. She glances down at her phone a few times, fiddles with it to check the time, and she sighs. Though she still has a good half an hour or so to wait until she arrives in her hometown, she truly wished that she was at home doing her homework more than being stuck on the train. Mariko glances down the length of the train car. It's empty, of course, and so she is alone. She couldn't see the conductor from this car, as he is behind the door that leads to the conductor's cab. However, the solitude does not bother or frighten her. In fact, she finds it rather peaceful and relaxing. She leans back to listen to the train tracks rattle beneath her and starts to doze slightly without even realizing it. The constant hum of the train's machinery is steady and calming, and before too long she is nodding even harder. All of her troubles begins to disappear as she enters the world of dreams. The train goes on its merry way, passing through a tunnel just as Mariko fully fades from reality. When the train buckles to a halt, Mariko jerks awake. It is a common occurrence to her to nod off during her homeward trip, so she thinks nothing of it. It is fairly easy to rouse herself thanks to the train's noisy screech to a full stop. After all, the train is a rather old model and its gears have probably seen better days. She stretches briefly and grabs her bag so she can prepare to disembark. As she steps out of the train car, she doesn't notice anything out of place. There is snow on the ground, as to be expected, and she is at a train station. But as she looks around, she realizes with a jolt that she doesn't recognize this particular station. This is not her home station, and nor is it one close to her school. Uh-oh. Okay.
Wait, the train only has 2 stops. So where is this?
Yeah, where are they? Just as Mariko turns to go back inside the train, the door promptly closes and she presses the button to grant her entrance to the train car, but at a second glance, it appears that the train itself is now powered down. She looks around some more, and even clambers up onto one of the station benches to see if she can spot the train conductor in the cab at the front of the train. However, there is no sign of a conductor or anyone else being nearby. Uh-oh, that'd be a little bit scary.
Hey, what's going on?
After a few moments of eerie silence, Mariko decided to find someone to answer her questions. Surely the station would have an attendant, and to the best of her knowledge, there aren't any stops between the rural city where she attends school and the podunk town that she lives in. However, maybe this was an emergency stop that she had never even noticed.
But that doesn't seem right.
Mariko racks her brain as she looks around desperately for someone, anyone who might be able to assist her. She walks through the station door and glances about. The lobby inside was well kept, cute even. It had public safety posters and some potted plants to decorate the walls, as well as a service desk. Mariko immediately makes her way to the service desk.
Hello? Is anyone here? Mr. Conductor? Someone?
Uh-oh, it's kind of scary. I'd be scared for her. Oh,
greetings.
someone's there. Cool. Mariko looks up in time to see a young man walk out from one of the back offices. She bows in a quick nod motion with her head and looks him over. He seems to be of a high school age like her, but instead of a school uniform, he wears what appears to be a uniform for the train station. Maybe he was working a part-time job at the station.
Hi. My name is Mariko, and I'm afraid... Well, this is going to sound silly, but I haven't got the slightest idea of where I am right now. Could you help point me in the right direction?
Well met, Mariko. I am Hotaka. I work at this railway station, so I would be glad to offer my services. You are currently at the Midway station.
He sounds so nervous, Tony. He sounds really nervous.
Midway? Between what and what? Where is this place? Why is the train not opening its doors?
I'm afraid the train isn't running at the moment. I believe it is undergoing maintenance right now. Were you on your way home from the city? I can show you around while you wait for the train to become operable again.
No, that's all right. I'll just wait here in the waiting room. I have to get home soon so I can finish my homework.
Understandable. Do let me know if you require any assistance.
Thank you.
Mariko takes a seat at one of the nearest benches and pulls out her phone as Hotaka watches her curiously. He then takes out a seat across from her and nervously stares down at the floor. Before long, he is tapping his foot in an anxious rhythm on the ground.
No reception, huh? We must really be out in the boonies.
Look at that face.
Electronics never seem to want to work here, I'm afraid. Sorry about that.
The pair of teenagers sit in awkward silence while Mariko fiddles with her phone as a distraction. Hotaka doesn't seem all that bad, though Mariko wonders if his stutter is natural or because he's nervous. Maybe he just started working here. Hotaka decides to break the ice.
So, you use the train to go to school?
Oops.
So, you use the train to go to school?
Yeah, I do. I'm the only one, though. Like, literally. I'm the single passenger for this train.
Oh, that's different.
It is different. Very different.
It's annoying is what it is. Everyone makes a big deal out of it, how I must feel so special. Really, I feel inconvenienced. I wish my parents' jobs would have allowed them to move us to the city so I'd be close to school. But no, it just couldn't work out that way.
But it must be nice to get the train to yourself. You must enjoy the peace and quiet at least, right? You don't have to deal with all of the congested city lines and crowds and pushing. You know, that sort of thing.
Oh, sure, it's nice now. But how does it prepare me for when I go away to university? I'm scared that I won't know what to do, and I'll end up getting trampled out there in the big city.
So, you'll be moving far away after high school? Does that make you sad at all?
Not in the least. Actually, I think I'll be sort of relieved. I'm ready to get out of this podunk place. I'm sick of it out here in the country. It's all I've ever known. I'm ready to go out and see the sights and bask in the city lights.
Yep, we know she wants to go to the city. How you doing, Joe? Welcome in.
I see. Will you remember your past fondly, at least?
I doubt it. My eyes are on the future. I don't have time for the past.
Good way to live, I guess. Look only in the future. Don't worry about your past.
I see. I'm just going to check on the status of the train. I'll be right back.
Hotaka looks pensive as he stands and walks back to his office. Mariko barely glances up as she checks out her phone for service once more. However, nothing. She sighs and puts the phone back in her bag before standing and looking around at some of the safety notice posters around the lobby. She gets so engrossed in one of the brightly colored posters that she about jumps out of her skin when Hotaka returns.
I doubt it. My eyes are on the future. I don't have time for the past.
I don't know why it keeps doing that, guys.
I see.
That's kind of weird how it keeps back skipping.
Hey, how'd it go?
Not so well, I'm afraid. It looks like the train will be under maintenance for a few more hours.
I really like the music to this game. It's pretty impressive.
A few more hours? There's no reception on my phone. I have to let my parents know somehow or they're going to freak. Is there a payphone around here somewhere?
I'm afraid that there are no lines to the outside here.
Oh my gosh.
This is the worst. Rural living, am I right? But really, what kind of train station doesn't have a payphone?
Yeah, I agree.
I'm afraid I don't know, miss. Are you sure you don't want me to show you around? It might be a good way to pass the time.
Huh. Sure, why not? Mariko thinks for a moment and then sighs with a shrug.
Okay, fine. But I want to stay near the train station just in case, okay?
That shouldn't be a problem, miss.
Hey now, what's with the formality?
Do forgive that. The people here tend to speak in a different sort of way. It's rubbed off on me.
Huh.
Ah, I see. Since you first greeted me, I thought you sounded kind of old-timey. But only just a bit. I figured you were from somewhere else, so I let it slide.
Thank you, miss.
Yeah, he sounded nervous there.
Let's go then.
So anyway, what do you want to show me?
He wants to take you back in the back room and show you something. I'm just kidding.
Well, I guess I can walk you around the station. It's not much. But there's also some touristy locations nearby, like the garden.
Sounds great. Will we be able to tell when the train is up and running again?
I have a radio for such an occasion.
Good thinking.
Okay. Mariko nods with a smile and follows Hotaka out of the station, pleased with his answer. As he shows her around the station, she spaces out a few times due to boredom, but for the most part follows the conversation. They stop at a garden with a fountain, It seems that he knows a lot of history of the local railway. She doesn't really care about what he's saying, but at least he tells stories with an interesting enough fashion to distract her from the fact that she's going to be stranded here for the next few hours. As he talks, his stutter gets slowly better, so Mariko attributes that to him being nervous while on the job. Have you worked at the station very long?
You know so much about the trains here. Have you worked here for very long?
Oh, well, it's been my first and only job for a while now.
It's cool that your school allows you to have a part-time job. Mine doesn't, so I make do with club activities.
I guess you could say I'm helping out with the family business, so it's not that big of a deal.
So, what about this town? Is this where you go to school?
Oh, here?
It must be pretty small. I haven't seen a single person since I've gotten here.
Yeah. It isn't very large here. But, what about where you live?
I think my town must be bigger than this place. I mean,
Hotaka! Kon! Hotaka, is that you?
Who's that? And for a brief moment, Hotaka looks panicked. He glances around rapidly, looking for the source of the voice.
I'll be right back. Wait here.
Huh? But shouldn't I meet some locals on my tour?
No need to run away, Hotaka. It's just me, Kon. I'm glad I caught up with you. Who's this? A friend, Kon?
Hello, ma'am. Mariko, this is Miss Aina.
Miss Aina, huh? Mariko looks around for the owner of the voice, but she doesn't see anybody nearby. She glances at Hotaka and follows his gaze down. And then there, about thigh height, is what she can only be described as a large white fox, wearing traditional clothes and talking.
Hello, Mariko. It's a pleasure to meet you. We've never seen faces around here. My name is Aina, Kon.
Huh.
What?
Is something the matter, dear Kon?
What the heck is going on? What is that?
Why, I'm a kitsune. Kon.
Alright, let's go down and turn this music down a little bit more. The music seems a little bit loud still. I don't want to turn it down too much because I think the music is really nice, but...
I'm sorry, Mariko. I should have told you sooner.
Told me what?
Midway isn't part of your world.
Oh, wow.
What now?
Huh.
It's like a space between your world and the spirit world.
Wow, a town halfway between our world and the spirit world. Well, that would explain the white fox in clothing, huh?
Oh, what? This has to be an elaborate prank. Let me guess. She's some sort of animatronic, right?
Kon? I'm afraid not, dear girl. I'm a proud fox spirit. See? I've got all 9 of my tails, Kon.
Huh. Sure enough, as Mariko counts, Aina does have 9 tails. Don't the legends say that the more tails a fox has had, the older and wiser it is? And sure enough, Aina's fur has a brilliant white color. She must have been an old fox if it weren't for the fact that she was clearly an illusion of some kind.
How do I know this isn't an elaborate ruse?
Kon? No worries. I'm one of the foxes that serve as a messenger for the gods. I'm completely harmless. Not a trickster at all, Kon.
No, that wasn't what I was... Okay, I'll go along with that. But then, what's this about me being between worlds? Am I dead?
Huh.
No, not at all. Don't worry, you aren't dead.
Then what am I doing here?
It's a good question.
I brought you here because I wanted to talk to you.
What?
Without my permission? What are you, some sort of creep? And what's so important that you wanted to talk to me about it? No, you know what? Forget it. I've never even met you before, so you must have kidnapped me or something.
Wow.
I'm not going to talk to weirdos like you. I'm going home.
She's kind of freaking out a little bit, but I can't really blame her.
Wait, you can't. The train.
Don't tell me what I can or can't do. I'm going back to the station, and don't you dare follow me. I can't believe I almost fell for that whole between worlds nonsense. Ah!
Huh, she is agitated. As Mariko storms out, Hotaka glances down at Aina, tears threatening to pour down his cheeks. Aww. The wise old fox puts a paw on his leg to try and comfort him. Aww.
There. Humans sometimes have that reaction to coming here, Con.
Oh, Aina. It's nothing like I had imagined or hoped for.
She'll come around, Con. Just wait and be patient.
No, I've done enough waiting. This is my only chance to get through to her.
Interesting. Well, it's definitely interesting. Mariko stomps around angrily into the train station and immediately approaches the desk to ring a bell once more. However, this time nobody comes. She furiously decides that she'll wait it out. Someone has to come replace Hotaka for his shift at some point.
Between worlds. As if. And what was with that creepy puppet act? Oh, whatever. Does he think I'm an idiot?
Mariko impatiently taps her foot as she waits for someone to come to the station, but still, nobody appears. As the sun starts to set, a sense of fear and worry creeps into her head as she pulls out her phone. Her parents are going to be awfully concerned by this point. However, her mobile still shows that there's no reception. She angrily tosses the phone back in her bag and stands up. She paces for a while, furiously muttering to herself.
That was a close call. Who knows what would have happened if I followed that guy? I'd hate to think. But where is everyone else? This place seems like a ghost town. Maybe I should take a quick look around.
Mariko exits the train station and retraces her steps cautiously to the garden. The twilight air has turned brisk, and she can see stars starting to appear in the darkening sky. She shivers slightly, glad to have her scarf and jacket. No one appears to be in the garden anymore, and she follows the path around the large garden, hoping to spot any living creature. Suddenly, solitude no longer seems as safe as inviting as the chill night air gets darker and darker.
It really is a ghost town, isn't it?
Mariko shudders slightly as her loneliness sets in. It has been a couple of hours since she last saw Hotaka and that fox thing. She keeps walking down the path until she is long out of the garden. There is only one trail, and she isn't worried about getting lost, and she can still see the train station in the distance. In the opposite direction, she can see the lights further down the road. She certainly hopes that the lights are a sign of life as she quickly makes her way towards them.
Please, someone other than that kid. Be here. I just need to find my way home. Please.
Aww. As Mariko moves closer to the lights, she sees a form of a house taking shape in the darkness. It looks like a cute little Western-style cottage, and as she appears, she can see more details. Lace curtains adorn the windows, and flowing vines wrapping their way up the many trellis planters around the building. The garden surrounding the cottage can only be described as vivid and beautiful. Various flowers, fruits, and vegetables litter the property in organized patterns and rows. Each of the edible plants looks more delicious than the last. As Mariko reaches the painted white fence that surrounds the edifice, she almost stumbles over a rock-lined cobblestone pathway. She follows along the path, which leads her straight to the fence's gate. Mariko hesitantly touches the gate, which swings open invitingly. She then half walks, half sneaks up to the front door, all the while trying not to appear suspicious. She's never really had to approach an unknown person's home on her own before. Where she lives, everyone knows everyone, and all are welcome to visit each other for one reason or another. Mariko hesitantly touches the gate, which swings open invitingly. We already read that. As Mariko wavers at the door, waiting to knock, she ponders on the fact that she's never even seen this sort of Western architecture around her hometown. She wonders how it got there. However, all lights on the matter are dashed from her head when the door opens underneath her raised hand.
Hello there, darling. I was wondering when you might come by.
Oh wow, who is this? Mariko almost leaps out of her skin when she sees the 3 pairs of red eyes staring at her. Yeah, that'd be a little bit spooky, I think.
Oh, sweetie, don't be afraid. Come on inside. It's nice to meet you. My name is Hashiko.
Hahiko, huh? Okay.
What?
Huh. I mean, she's looking right into those red eyes, 6 red eyes. I can't blame her for kind of freaking out a little bit. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if she's dreaming at this point, right?
Oh, dearie me. Are you surprised? You must not have met many Jorogumo.
Jiragumo.
No, I have not. Are you real?
I am indeed real. Come now. It's cold out there. Come in. Come in.
Okay. But first, may I ask if you have a phone? My name is Mariko, by the way.
I have a phone, yes, but not one that will connect you to the place you're trying to get hold of, I'm afraid. It doesn't work very well anyway.
Oh, man.
Oh.
Come now, my dear. Let's get you warmed up. Would you care for some tea?
Yes, please.
Mariko steps in the lemons and takes a look around as she takes off her shoes. Her eyes then come to rest on her host. Not only does the beautiful woman have 3 sets of red eyes, but she also has 4 more arms than Mariko would normally expect. But then again, Mariko is starting to suspect that this whole occurrence is just a dream. Hey, I just mentioned that. That's kind of funny. She decides to ignore the fact that the beautiful woman might eat her, and instead follows her for what appears to be a sitting room.
You must be so surprised. Not many humans get to come to Midway.
Is that so? It certainly feels dreamlike here. I keep pinching myself so I can try to wake up, but so far it's not working.
While I'll agree to your description of my home, I have to assure you that this is not a dream. Here, have a seat, and I'll make that tea I offered earlier.
Thank you.
Mariko looks around while the Spider Woman moves around. Yeah, calling her a Spider Woman with all the eyes and arms. While the Spider Woman moves around comfortably at her own pace. She disappears down the hall for a while, and Mariko can hear the sounds of a kettle boiling water, as well as Hachiko rustling around. When she returns, her extra pairs of arms are laden with trays full of tea and treats. Hachiko sets them on the coffee table before Mariko and signals with one hand to the human girl to help herself. The Spider Woman then picks up 3 pairs of knitting needles and gets to work.
Thank you for the tea and cookies.
Not at all. No trouble at all, dear. Enjoy, you poor little thing. Eat up.
A sense of silence fills the space between them as Mariko watches Hachiko carefully. The Spider Woman returns her gaze.
So, you're not going to eat me, are you?
Huh.
What sort of question is that? Of course not, child. I only eat naughty men.
I only eat naughty men. Okay.
Oh. Your garden. Why is it... How did you grow such a vibrant garden in the winter?
Oh, you know, I had to use a little magic to encourage the plants along. I really should have invested in a greenhouse, but that's in the past.
Oh, I see.
Can you tell me about
Oh,
yourself?
I see. Can you tell me about yourself? I must admit that I'm curious. I mean, I've only met normal spiders before, not spider spirits. Not to say you're abnormal, it's just new for me.
No worries, dear. I didn't think you were calling me abnormal. Sure, we can talk about me for a bit. As you know, my name is Hashiko. I have many good friends here in Midway, as well as some family here and there. I'm obsessed with Western things. I also enjoy devouring wicked men, as I mentioned before.
Wow. That's crazy. So this world that this spider woman lives at, as well as the train station worker that she met, they live in a world where things are quite a bit different from our world here. And with that, guys, I do want to go ahead and keep this visual novel in bite-sized pieces, if we would. So we're going to continue live stream Under the Moonshine, or we're going to continue When Our Journey Ends in live stream Under the Moonshine number 220 on Monday after this weekend. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this here. We're going to go ahead and save this with Hakiko at her house. And we'll go ahead and choose that. And it is saved. And we will continue this novel, which looks pretty freaking interesting, I might say, or I must say. We'll continue this Monday night. I want to go and thank anyone who's watching, and we will see you soon right back here on my Twitch live stream channel. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace.